Jackson here at Song Mentor. You know, personal problems aside, John Phillips was an amazing songwriter. A few weeks ago we featured California Dreamin', one of my favorite songs of his. Then in 1967 he penned San Francisco, not for himself and the Mamas and the Papas, but for an artist named Scott McKenzie. The song was written to promote the Monterey Pop Festival and was an instant hit. It's one of those songs that conjures up images. And when I think of San Francisco, this song comes to mind for me, and for many others as well. It was used in the film Forrest Gump and other soundtracks over the years. Here's 1967's San Francisco.
All right, well, we had a ball team a few years ago that wore tie-dye shirts as part of our theme. And do you think I could find that tie-dye shirt to wear for this video? However, I do have genuine 1967 love beads. Well, maybe not genuine. All right, I toiled over the key for this song again. I decided to go with the original key. It is at the very, very top of my range. But what I'm going to suggest right off the bat is if you're an average ranged singer, I'm a little above, but not. This is right up there for me. If you're an average ranged singer, that you perhaps play this song in the key of B minor. And so the chords are on the screen right now. You can pause the video right here and write them down. These would be the replacement chords, more or less in the order they appear in the song, and in the order I'm about to give you for the correct version of the original Scott McKenzie version of the song. However, as I said, original key, so we're going to go with E minor, which is, of course, 2.5 steps above B minor, so that's why it's right up there. Here are the chords you need for San Francisco. You need an E minor. You need an open C chord. You need an open G chord. And an open D chord. You also need a B minor bar chord. And then for the little bridge section in the middle, you're going to need an F5 chord, which is basically an F major bar chord, but we're going to emphasize the 6 and 5 strings there. So an F5 bar chord and a G5 bar chord. And then for the end section of the song, we're going to add to what we've already put in the song an F sharp minor bar chord, a C sharp minor bar chord, and an open A chord. So surprisingly, quite a few chords for this song, but there they are. All right, the intro to San Francisco is a little bit reminiscent of CCR's Who'll Stop the Rain. The song begins in G, has a similar strumming pattern, and ends up in E minor, as does Who'll Stop the Rain. If you're going to San Francisco. So let's take a look at that strumming pattern. Remember that we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If you're going, let's take a look at the strumming pattern. That muted slap there. So it's down, up, and then a muted slap down, and then up, down, up. If you're going to San Francisco. And that gives you an idea of the feel of the strumming and the way the intro is played. All right, with the chords on the screen, let's play through the intro and a verse and see how things unfold chord-wise. If you're going to San wear some flowers in your hair. If you're going to San Francisco, you're gonna meet some gentle people there. For those who come. Okay, so that takes us through a verse. You can practice that a few times and into the next verse, of course. Well, the second verse is played exactly the same progression as the first, only, of course, the lyrics change. Then we get into the bridge section of the song, and this is where we feature the F5 and G5 chords. And this is one advantage of playing it in the original key. We can use these these power bar F5 and G5 chords to give it a little more punch during this bridge section. So we'll just go from the end of the second verse. In the streets of San Francisco, gentle people with flowers in their hair, all across the nation. So we're going to go to that F bar chord, and preceding the F bar chord, we're going to play the open E note, the open sixth string. So it's going to be like this. And then up to the G5. All across the nation, such a strange vibration, people in motion. The interesting thing there is that you would expect it to wait through a full 8 beats once you hit sing People in Motion and play the G5 chord, but it actually sort of a half-time wait there. This is what I would expect it to be, and I think most people would. Such a strange vibration, people in motion. There's a whole generation, but it doesn't do that, so listen again to what it does do. All across the nation, such a strange vibration, people in motion. There's a whole generation with the new explanation. When it kicks into that third verse, there's a lot of energy there. So we want to come out of the G5. We want to build that open D chord and really make it kind of exciting at that point in the song as you get into the third verse. So speaking of that third verse, just a couple little changes in the third verse. We sneak an A minor chord in during the first line, so watch for that. And then when the verse ends, it ends on a G chord rather than the open D chord that the previous two verses ended on. So we'll play through it here and watch out for those two subtle changes. For those who come to San Francisco, be sure to wear some flowers in your hair. If you come to San Francisco, summertime will be alive in there. Okay, now just show you what the right hand is doing when we sneak that A minor chord in. For those who come to San Francisco. All right, let's move on to that last section of the song. All right, the last section of the song is where we facilitate this nice little key change. So we're coming off that verse that ends in the G. Summertime will be a loving air. If you come. So what it does there, it goes from the G to the E minor as we would expect it to, and then the key change, a full step up to F sharp minor. If you come to San Francisco. Very cool little key change there. Now let me show you how I'd like you to play this. You hear how I picked through the entire chord there. The F sharp minor. Let me show you the right hand. Just instead of just strumming it, it's just a. We want to make sure we do that for the chords in this little section. So it's. If you come to San Francisco. Now to add to that, we're just going to try to simulate the bass guitar here a little bit. If you come to San Francisco. You hear how and the bass guitar is very clean at this section of the song. I absolutely love the sound of it. So what we're doing there is just playing that lead note. Okay, so it's the F sharp note, then the A note, then the D note, then back to the A note. Now watch how I can even fill in that little bass run. If you come to San Francisco. And here's what I did there. If you come to San Francisco. Just using my thumb to cheat there, and it's playing what the bass guitar plays. And then back into the last line there. So one more time. If you come to San Francisco, summertime will be a loving air. Now that's basically the end of the song. It does fade there and goes back into a you could do for an ending. As an ending, you could play the F sharp minor, A, D, A one more time. Or, again, once this way, I'll show you this way, and you can just end it here. If you come to San Francisco, summertime will be a loving there. And end it right there. All right, we got all the pieces for a playthrough. If you're going to San Francisco, be sure to wear some flowers in your hair. If you're going to San Francisco, you're gonna meet some gentle people there. For those who come to San Francisco, summertime will be a loving there. In the streets of San Francisco, gentle people with flowers in their across the nation, such a strange vibration, people in motion, there's a
our time will be a loving man. All right, fine tuning for San Francisco. Well, lots of cool things going on in this song. We have a really nice key change filtered in at the end there. We've got this really cool kind of a power chord thing on an acoustic, which is kind of different, and also the nice little modeling of the bass there at the end of the song, which is also kind of cool. There you go, Scott McKenzie, written by John Phillips, San Francisco. We'll see you next time, without the love beats, on Song Metric.